So I was saying that was a tough act to follow from after what Ramesh presented on AI and how it's used across industries. I'll talk today mostly about the employee experience of AI. Okay, but before I get into that, a little bit about me. Okay, so I'm Sumeet Harigopal. I have over 20 years of enterprise apps experience. I started my career in the Silicon Valley in Bay Area. And then I used to work for a startup about a decade ago that got acquired by Deloitte. And then I worked in Deloitte for a decade and then joined Coinbase. A good friend of mine worked at Coinbase, mentioned it, and then that's a long story. And then I joined Coinbase in 2019. And I'm still at Coinbase. So today we're not going to talk anything about Coinbase for compliance reasons. My company permits me to talk anything about it. But I have enough friends in the industry who are leading AI initiatives and who are CEOs, CIOs, and executives. So, and my own research. So I'll talk to you about the employee side of AI experience. Okay? Quick show of hands. I see some students here. I'm assuming the people in the back, some students. Quick show of hands. Can any of you, if you've done an internship or you have a job, tell me one AI tool you've used? I'm looking over there. I see a hand there. Yeah, go ahead. If you don't mind, can you speak up? I can't hear you.
A friend of mine works at Harigopal, and at first he didn't really know how to make windows. But when he got the job, he was really surprised. So
Hold on, let's
first
see.
day on,
Yeah.
So a friend of mine that works at In-N-Out, first day on the job, he did not know how to make burgers at all, like not even flipping the patty. So he went on to Google Gemini, he searched up, how do I flip a patty? And he learned it was just pick up a spatula and flip it.
Exactly. Exactly. So what does that? First of all, thank you. So what does that tell you, right? As an employee, you are going to use AI, whether it is a company-provided tool or it is a generic tool available out there from other companies like Google and who else is producing, right? So the fact is, there are going to be AI tools, okay? And later on in the slides, I'll talk about how companies are actually deploying AI. Okay? So Ramesh already covered about the AI sides, so I'm not going to talk about that. I'll talk mostly about employee experience. Okay? So what this slide tells you is that companies are investing in AI, and why are they doing it? They're doing it because they want to retain their talent. Okay, that's one reason. The other one is they want to see increased productivity. Like like he said at the back, he didn't know how to flip a burger, went to Gemini, looked it up, and he got information. So that's being productive, right? If you are running a company, wouldn't you want your company, your employees to be productive? You would, right? And one way to make them productive is to give them the tools, right? And tools like AI tools, right? And I'll give you more examples in different aspects of an employee's work. So one is talent retention, okay? So you can be assured that when you go to work, there is going to be AI tools for sure, because the company wants to retain their best talent. Second, they want their employees to be productive. Okay, third, hybrid work and digital transformation. What that means is, in today's world, the traditional office is not going to be available everywhere across all companies. You're going to be working from home, or you could be working from WeWork or any like a pod, anything like that, right? But AI makes all of that possible, right? Again, your takeaway is that, remember, AI is going to be used, okay? It is not replacing you. It is going to be used, it's available. And the last one is employer branding and competitive advantage. What that means is, wouldn't you like to go tell your friends and your family, hey, I work for a company that has AI tools in their portfolio, right? And I use it, right? So that's why companies are also deploying AI. Now, I'm not going to talk about Coinbase, but I said I do have friends who are across in Bay Area and other companies who are actually leading AI initiatives. And I can tell you, since you're all students here, I can tell you that your time spent learning AI, getting trained, getting the certifications in AI is actually time well spent. It's an investment. you are going to be using AI tools, so be prepared, okay? So the takeaway from this slide is that companies are investing in AI, right? So spend the time and get certified, get trained. All right, so role of AI in workforce transformation. So how are companies using AI? Okay. Like Ramesh alluded to RPA. RPA stands for Robotic Process Automation. Back in the day, about a decade ago, RPA was used to really mimic human behavior. What a human could do, you can build a bot and have the bot do it. But today, how AI is transforming businesses is not only automation, it's also an upskilling. Okay? They want to improve the skills of their existing workforce. Okay? So that's another reason why AI is. And lastly, AI human collaboration. Is, for example, if you're a software engineer, you are going to have a digital assistant. Could be a co-pilot, could be anything, but you're going to have it, right? So that collaboration is also going to be there. So that is how workforce transformation is happening. Okay? So when you graduate or when you get ready to go to work, so you can expect AI tools to be there. It will be used for automation. It will be used for upskilling their existing employee workforce, and also where you see digital assistants that you'll be working with. Okay? It could be anything. It could be a co-pilot, like I said. Ramesh mentioned GitHub. That's another example. And stop me. Don't have to wait for a Q&A session at the very end. If you have any questions, don't be shy. Raise your hand and just ask me a question. All right. So how effective is AI in employee experience? Now we talk about AI, right? Everybody talks about AI now, right? I mean, you go to whether you read a magazine, you go to YouTube, you talk to your friends, you turn on any tech channel, you'll hear AI. Okay. So quick show of hands. Again, I want students at the back. In one sentence, what is AI? All right, have a good friend over there. Go ahead. The next time I want somebody from this side, the middle row. I want one of you to answer.
So AI is just a software that is programmed to work in real time based on your query.
Excellent. Anybody else? This side. If you don't volunteer, I'm going to pick one of you. So you listen.
AI is a program, software that designed to help people. That's what you said, but that's
Okay, that's good. That's good. So, how effective is AI in employee experience? The reason I ask that is, we know that AI is a software, we know AI can do all these fancy things, right? But how effective is it? Okay, I'll make it very quick. Take just 30 seconds. Give me percentages. What do you think it is? Take any company. How effective is AI in companies? Take a swag. Take a guess. If AI is all that great, it's got to work all the time in every scenario, right? Anybody? So that's what this slide is telling you, that it is a very degree of effectiveness. Okay? In some cases, it's really good. If you are a recruiter or you're involved in onboarding, it's really, really effective, because what does a recruiter do? They parse resumes, they schedule interviews. AI is phenomenal over there. It's a proven technology there. Okay? But look at all the other aspects of an employee experience. You're going to see like a varying maturity across functions over there. It's not the same, right? But don't let that deter you. As students, that's your opportunity. The whole technology is still evolving. Companies are still figuring out how to use AI, how to deploy AI. By the time you'll graduate, gain the certifications, gain the experience, you'll be ready to contribute. Okay, the opportunity is there. All right, next. So here are some use cases across the employee journey. Okay. Now, how do you become an employee? You're a candidate, you apply for a job, you get recruited, and then you have the whole life cycle, right? Now, in the recruitment space, you look on the third column, right? Those are some typical applications that you'll find, like HireVue, Pymetrics, LinkedIn Recruiter. These are all recruitment tools that have AI built in. Okay. Same with onboarding. Anybody wants to take a guess? What do you think onboarding is? One sentence. Anybody? Anybody here had an internship before? Students? Have a job? No? You? Yeah, go ahead.
So onboarding is officially part of the company.
Yeah.
So it's the process that comes before you become a part of the company.
Excellent. So how was your experience with onboarding?
A lot of back and forth. Sometimes you wait. Sometimes they are waiting on your input. Sometimes you are waiting on their input. So it's a
Yeah.
yeah.
And if you were an AI consultant there, how would you have made the process better? You don't have to mention the tools, but how would you have made the experience better?
It's a good question. I think the wherever a human intervention is needed, that would be reduced with AI. I think having just a platform where a candidate could onboard all of the documents at once, so that would like reduce the lot of back and forth that would happen potentially, and then maybe automated emails to remind candidates about this is due. So or maybe tell them about the next steps. So I think it would help a lot in that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I'm telling you here. Conversational AI for employee FAQs. Instead of waiting for an HR person or an onboarding person, if you had a bot that you can interact with and ask questions, right, that would result in a better experience. And if you really think about it, it's everyday problems where you can use to deliver a better experience using AI. Okay? So again, if you all are debating whether to get into AI or not, my suggestion is get it, get trained. Okay? So in the interest of time, are we doing okay on time? So I'll quickly touch on the other ones. Okay, so recruitment, onboarding, learning, and upskilling. Okay, so look at the third column, right? Those are some of the tools like Coursera for Business, Google Cloud. So these are all Google Cloud skills tools, right? So these are all applications that companies are actually using today. So when you go in and start working, you're going to encounter all of these. Okay. So I want to touch upon all of them. I'll move on to the next slide. So why are companies even investing in AI? Okay. Number one, efficiency. Okay. Automation cuts operational costs by, according to a McKinsey report, estimates about 20% savings in repetitive tasks. Okay. Anybody that had a job there, can you name one task that is repetitive in companies? You had a job, right? I'll recall you.
So I was in testing. So a lot of the let's say a new feature gets onboarded. So you do the testing for that new feature with the entire application again and again and again. So basically that's regression testing. So that's something which is automated all the time.
Yeah.
So
Awesome. That's a great use case. And again, so why are companies investing in it? Because again, anything that is structured, repetitive, are prime candidates for automation. Okay, whether they use RPA or AI, the point is it's prime candidates for automation, and it will be automated. Okay, and why are they doing it? Because it's clearly said, right, about 30% cost savings in repetitive tasks. So when you go to the workforce, expect AI tools to be there for automation, especially for repetitive tasks. Okay? The sooner you get involved in it, engaged in it, start using it, the better for you. You'll really ace the interview, and you'll be selected with the high-paying job. Okay, next, engagement. Now, tailored employee EX means employee experience. Okay, it boosts employee morale. Okay, what that means is if there is an AI-driven workflow to really enhance that workforce, that employee experience, it boosts the morale. And according to Deloitte survey, it finds 80% of employees they value personalized tools. Okay, so what this tells you again is companies are going to invest in AI. So if you're still on the fence thinking on, or should I just be a traditional software engineer, should I learn AI, is it really worth it? Do it. Just spend the time, learn about AI, take the necessary certifications. Lastly, innovation. Now, it allows companies, allows employees, the time that they save with AI doing part of the job, it gives time for employees to be more innovative. So that's another reason why companies have AI implementation programs going on right now. Okay? I have friends in the Bay Area, and I can assure you that a lot of good companies have AI initiatives, and they're all in implementation phases. Okay, finally, companies with strong AI adoption, they attract tech-savvy workers. Okay? So if you have all the AI skills and you have your computer science degree, would you want to go to a company that does not have an AI initiative? No. So who's losing out? The company is losing out. They're losing out on top talent, right? So that's another reason why enterprises invest in AI programs. Okay? How are we doing at time, sir? 5 minutes? Okay, so I'll make it quick. So again, common challenges. These are not common challenges for the employees. These are common challenges for the companies that want to deploy AI initiatives. Okay, there's a few, but I'll name 3. The challenge number 1: job displacement fears. So these are fears by existing employees who think, oh my God, AI is coming. Am I going to lose my job? Right. So if you happen to be an advisor for a company that's deploying AI solutions, and the CIO asks you, hey, what's the impact of implementing AI? Are people going to lose their jobs? So your answer could be no, not really. You're really augmenting existing employee skills, right? Like I talked about a digital assistant. You'll have an employee could have a digital assistant to make them more productive. Okay? So, but the challenge is that fear exists in existing employees that they never do jobs. Number 2 is high implementation costs. AI can be expensive, and if you start using the big 4 consulting companies, that gets even more expensive. But again, the solution for that is start with scalable projects like the AWS AI services. Why am I telling you this? If you get a job as an AI consultant and you're advising the CIO of a company, so there's another challenge you can expect to hear, okay? That it is expensive. So this is how you overcome that, right? Overcome the challenge. Start small and then scale up. Challenge 3, resistance to change. Your existing employees will be resistant to change. If they're used to doing things a certain way, you brought out the example of regression testing. If they're used to doing manual testing, obviously they're not going to like automation, right? So that human tendency, change is always difficult to accept, right? The solution is, again, why am I telling you this? If you are an AI consultant, you are asked for advice, this is what your advice should be. That the benefit should be communicated upfront, clearly, right? And involve the employees in the rollout. Take a small group of employees, right? Maybe a small subset of IT employees. Roll the AI initiative out to them. Let them test it and give you feedback. Right? That's how we start engaging the employee population and then scale up. So what's the takeaway? Proactive strategies turn obstacles into opportunities. Again, I'm telling you if you are an AI consultant, right, from that perspective. But I know we have that much time, so I'm going to make it quick. So featured friends, I think Ramesh already touched on generative AI. Again, quick response, what is generative AI? Anything that generates content in the response is generative AI. Okay? Just a short answer there. Autonomous system, these are self-managing workflows. If you have, whether it's a hire workflow or a terminate workflow or any workflow, right? Or a job change workflow that runs by itself, that's called an autonomous system. Let's see, I'll go to the 4th bullet, personalization. If you have very tailored employee experience workflows using AI, it just becomes a great experience for the employee. And you're going to find that it's going to become standard across companies. As you start working, these workflows are going to be standard. You will expect it. Alright, so how can you prepare? Python is definitely one, very prevalent, used across the board. Keep, whether it's Coursera or wherever, right? There's many avenues, just educate yourself, get the certifications. I'll just take on one thing from here, right? The one is, again, the mindset. View AI not as a threat, but as a tool. Be ready to collaborate with it. Look at AI as your digital assistant, especially if you are all computer science graduates, planning to work in a tech line. Look at it as a tool that will enhance the productivity. Okay? And lastly, stay updated with AI trends and news. Like if you have to subscribe to newsletters, do it. And I think I'll stop there in case if you have any questions. Our students are very quiet today. I think they already know what AI is.
I think part of it would be thinking what is going to happen when AI is coming for us, right? So I wanted to address some of the narratives that are there in the industry. A few days ago, a CEO of Salesforce, right, Mark Benioff, right, he said we are not going to hire any more software engineers this year or in the future. Satya Nadella said SaaS is dead. Right? Bill Gates says the same, similar things. Yet, if we look at, and I was happy to hear both our talks today. If we hear the slide, 2 slides before, we say that the job loss is going to be 85 million by 2030, but it would create 97 million by the same time. Right? So thankfully, jobs may not be all lost, right? But there is going to be redistribution. Right, and we can see that redistribution is affecting students. In my startup, I get much more resumes for internships now because students are not getting enough internships. So I really think that's a struggle. And then we do have the concern that as you grow older, right, we are unable to adopt technology. So older generation is more wise, but not, dexterous. The dexterous reduces. I wanted to hear, all our insights and some thoughts on how we can prepare for that. We have these presentations that there's a lot of things being addressed, but yet, what are the skills that AI will fail to do? So you will need a human somewhere in there. What are the common human and machine collaborations that are going to exist for our future, right? And for non-technology, there are a lot of our students are now choosing, non-tech. They like technology, but they go into non-technology areas, right? And what is it that we can tell them on how to survive in a world, right? How to, of course, there are soft skills and human skills, right? So just a quick discussion around.
All great questions. I'll take the last one first, right? So what kind of skills should non-tech folks have that relates to AI? So I have a slide. Here are the types of jobs. If you see here, not everything is tech. You can be an AI product manager. You can be an AI educator. Right? You don't have to be a software engineer, but you can teach about AI, right? You're not getting into hardcore building AI. You're not building like MLs and or LLMs and all of that, right? Or you can be, let's say another one is an AI ethics specialist. There is an ethical aspect of AI as well, right? So you can choose to have your career in that. So if you are a non-tech person interested in AI, these are the 3 types of jobs you can look at. There could be more as the industry evolves, but these are 3 things. You asked another question about engineers, right? Like, what kind of engineers are companies going to? I'm going to convert that to the question, right? So are companies going to hire senior software engineers, right? So this is my personal opinion. I think that trend is going to come down. Okay. The reason is junior engineers are going to be a lot more in demand because AI is now doing what a senior has taken decades to learn. AI can augment that junior person's technical skills with the experience that they don't have, but AI could augment that. Does that make sense? The last thing you said was about the 85 million jobs that could be dispersed. That's according to the World Economic Forum. But it also said 97 million new jobs will be created by 2030 in the AI space. Okay? So all of you, again, I am repeating myself here. If you're on the fence of whether to get into AI or not, my suggestion would be get into AI. Get the training, get the certifications, and then decide what kind of job you want to be. Do you want to be on the technical side or do you want to be on the consulting side? Do you want to be an AI educator? Do you want to be an AI ethics specialist? Right? Did I answer all the questions? Yeah, go ahead.
See, I think so it's very interesting point on this what Mark, Satya, everybody is doing, right? Job cuts and all of those things, right? I think you might want to view this in 3 vectors, right? It's not about just AI taking out a job, and honestly, I mean, I've been in this space for quite some time, right? It's a part to it, but not everything, right? Because, see, they have to address their shareholders, and they have to keep some profit and all of those things. These decisions and announcements are factors of that, right? Then number 2, see, there is an agent, there is a concept called code agent that is really evolving, okay? Like you would have seen what Meta has been introducing OpenAI, the DeepSeek and all of those players, where AI can build an application on its own with a complete end-to-end pipeline, source code and all of those things, right? So what they are trying to do when it comes to building their product development, all of those things, most of the pipeline building, they are going to leverage the AI, but still they wanted to have, remember I told about the concept of an HIL, human in loop, that is going to be there. So wherever there is a human effort involved in all of those code building and all of those things, they are planning to leverage AI as much as possible using the code agent and all of those things. But still, they are looking for other value-added services from humans. Like AI cannot think about, oh, what is the business requirement? And what is the real need for any enterprise customers, consumers and all. I think that transposing that real human need into what is the software need, that there is a huge amount of a requirement for talent and all of those things. That's what Sumeet mentioned, right? Then second, I think the non-technical stuff you're talking about, what are the other skills? See, with all of those AI and all of those things, right, there is a whole bunch of ethics. How do I price it? Because the future is all about what kind of an infrastructure that is needed, what kind of a data that is needed, what kind of a computing power that is needed. There is a role called the pricing estimator is getting involved on this space. Again, I don't know whether it is going to be in the millions and millions, but that role is becoming super niche as well. Probably people are not interested in coding. Probably they can also expand and understand, but that requires a massive understanding of what this whole space is all about.
And I think 10 seconds. Mark Benioff saying we're not going to hire engineers. I think that's not going to hire senior engineers. Junior engineers still will be required, but AI will bridge the gap, the experience that they don't have. And second, SaaS is dead, what Satya Nadella said. I think what he means is traditional SaaS application systems like Workday, like SuccessFactors. Yeah, I can see a day where you don't need those clunky designs, right? You can have, as long as the data is there, people can interact with the bot, right? I think in that sense it may be there. So, yeah, that's it.
Jason Kumar said coding, don't even study coding. Jason Kumar, CEO of engineer.
Right.
So these are confusing.
Yeah.
Thanks for
No, definitely.
Yeah, a lot of it are also opinions. It's not predictions, right? So we'll see how the world. Thank you so much. Great talk.